Before I start this video, I would like to warn everyone that this video will contain spoilers of pivotal story moments, including the endings of Claire Obscur Expedition 33. So if you haven't already played the game, I highly implore that you do so before watching this video. Thank you for watching.
I don't want this life.
Stop saying that.
I don't want this life.
I often feel like I have so many things that I want to do with my life. It's like my life has not yet reached the potential of what I could achieve and become. But somehow, I've had this feeling of being content but not really happy. Working a job that I don't really enjoy, and once I come home, I just let myself get swallowed in games, movies, manga, or whatever the thing I have going on during that time is. I sometimes lay awake at night with the slow creeping feeling that I'm letting my life run through my fingers. I feel like I want to do so much more, yet I have felt stuck in place, unable to move. So when I started playing Clair Obscur, I was in a pretty low spot in life. I was working a job that I hated and in a relationship where I felt really neglected and anxious. I was just looking for a game to keep me distracted from the things I didn't want to think about. What I didn't know and couldn't have expected was how this game would make me realize that I was stuck in a repeating cycle of escapism. The very game that I picked up for distraction would call me out on how wrong my reasoning for doing so was. Clair Obscur follows the story of the so-called Expedition 33. Every year in this world, a massive being referred to as the Paintress paints a descending number upon a monolith that causes everyone at or above that age to fade away and die. When that day arrives, the citizens of Lumiere hold a festival called the Gamache to bid farewell to all the people who will disappear that year. When the festival is over, the people of Lumiere send out an expedition to try and stop the Paintress from lowering the number any further, and this time it is the 33rd expedition setting out. In this expedition, we follow the characters of Gustave, Maëlle, Ciel, and Lune, who after a horrible start to the expedition where nearly every one of their allies are killed, they have to carry on the torch for those who come after. It is a very grabbing hook to start off a game with, and it sets up a lot of questions to be answered. But what's amazing about Claire Obscur's story is what seems to be the setup to the antagonists, and our main goal turns out to be instead a deeply layered tale about death, loss, and escaping a reality that might be too hard to bear the truth of. The story takes a wild turn at the end of Act 2, where the party manages to defeat the Paintress, but as a consequence of this, the dark truth of this world is exposed. It is revealed that the entire world of Clair Obscur takes place within a canvas. These canvas worlds are drawn by a family called the Desandres, that with special powers are able to create worlds through their art. The painted world that Clair Obscur takes place in is a world drawn by the son of the family, named Verso, who tragically passed away in a house fire. Due to Verso putting so much of his passion and time into drawing this canvas world, he ended up putting part of his soul in the canvas. This part of his soul is what keeps the world alive, and he is forever forced to paint this world whether he wants to or not. Verso also has a version of himself within the painted world that was brought to life by the Paintress, who we now know as the mother of the family. We also learn that Maëlle, whose real name is Alicia, is the daughter of the family, who as a consequence of being inexperienced when entering the painting to bring her mom back, lost all of her memories and was reborn as the person we know as Maëlle. When all is revealed, the Paintress turns out to be no more than a grieving mother who couldn't accept the loss of her own son. She now stays inside of the painting because it's the last remaining piece of him she has left. Her husband Renoir has been desperately trying to get her out of there, to no avail, but when the party defeats the Paintress and expel her from the canvas, Renoir is able to break free and finish off what he started so many years ago. In the end, this story tells us about a family being torn apart over the loss of their brother and son. It's about a mother so lost in grief that she turns to the canvas, the only thing that remains of her son, to escape a horrible reality she doesn't want to face. And a father trying his very hardest to keep his family from losing touch with reality and saving them from losing themselves to the tempting allure of escapism.
I just wanted to live this lifetime together. This lifetime that was stolen from us.
Art to us humans is a very important thing. We often use art as a respite to escape the monotony of our daily lives. But art can be a double-edged sword. Often we find ourselves stuck in a loop of consuming things that only make us feel good in the moment. It becomes easy to escape our inner thoughts and stop facing the harsh realities of life catching up to us. Eventually, we will find that the art has started consuming our lives rather than us consuming it. This form of escapism is made even easier today when it comes to video games. In today's video game industry, games that leave a mark on you and confront you with powerful messaging are far and few in between. It is so common nowadays for games to be made to suck as much time out of you as possible. I'm thinking of your Fortnites, Destinies, Call of Duties. Games that are just made to endlessly consume your time with only fun and distraction can be a very dangerous and powerful form of escapism. This is not to say that art without meaning is all bad, or that enjoying art as a form of escapism is only a bad thing. Because that's something we all do. And that is also not to say that meaningless art even exists, because we can all take our own meanings from art. It is a very nuanced topic, but I think when we start to use things like games, books, and music as a means to just run away from our problems and feelings that makes us uncomfortable, it becomes something that can rob you out of opportunities to change and grow in life. It is ever so important that we use escapism in moderation so we don't leave ourselves with future regrets. In my own experiences, I would many times come home distraught after a horrible day at work. Immediately as I got home, I would turn on my computer and get sucked into the world of whatever game I was playing at the time, and all my worries would go away. But the thing is, I'd go back to work the very next day, and the day after that, and feel just as shitty about where my life was, and yet I did nothing to change it. My life started to become a cycle full of regret because I felt like I was leaving behind the potential of what I could become if I just tried. But many times, it was just so much easier to escape into a world behind a digital screen and fill my ears with music before going to bed. Yet as weeks, months, and years passed, I would start to regret the me of today and despise the me of yesterday more and more. I was doing the exact same thing as the mother of this story. I was running from uncomfortable facts that I did not want to face. I didn't realize what the game was yelling at me when the story of the paintress and the grieving mother was revealed to me. But Clair Obscur was not over yet. I had yet to reach its ending. An ending done so wonderfully that it actively challenges the player to see if they have fully understood the message that this story was trying to tell you. I want to be very clear that I think the message you can take from Clair Obscur's endings can be many things, but I think the core message we can take from these endings is about not running from ourselves and face our reality, learning to move on and not let the comforts of lingering in the past shackle us from our futures.
Life keeps forcing cruel choices. We do what we must.
In the ending of Clair Obscur, you have to make a big decision between two driving forces, Verso or Mael. Verso, who wants to destroy the painted world and everything within it so he can finally put his soul to rest. He no longer wants to live a life as a memory of someone who is already dead. Nothing more than an undying ghost, a memory of what he was. But as a consequence of this, every character we have met and gotten to know over the course of this story will also be destroyed as the world within the canvas will be no more. The other choice is Mael, who now has memories of growing up in the real world and the painted one. She now wants to stay within the canvas because she thinks there is nothing left back for her in the real world. Mael was severely burned in the house fire, and her real body has lost the ability to speak. So staying in this world means that she is able to speak and live normally. She also gets to keep on living with her brother and everyone else she's grown to love in this world, just like we have. She wants to, just like her mother did, run from the truth and live in this world of fiction, unwilling to face reality. When I got to this part, I didn't quite understand why Verso wanted to destroy it all, and I saw absolutely no problem with Mael wanting to stay within the canvas. So naturally, I decided to side with Mael, because I thought if everyone gets to live, that has to be the good ending, right? I could not have been more wrong. When you side with Mael and defeat Verso, he pleads for you to end it all. He just wants peace from the decades he has spent in this world watching everyone slowly die around him. I just want to mention the amazing and heart-wrenching performance from Ben Starr and Jennifer English, who voice acts in this scene. It was truly a performance that absolutely broke my heart.
I don't want this life.
Stop saying that.
I don't want this life. I don't want this life.
I just wanted to live this lifetime together. This lifetime that was stolen from us. Please. Bro. Please.
I don't want this life. Help me. Help me.
If you could grow old, would you find a reason to smile?
We slowly pan inside the Grand Theatre of Lumiere. Inside are all the characters we have gotten to know throughout this story. Everyone we have lost throughout this journey has been brought back to life. Yet somehow in the setting where everyone is so happy and cheerful, everything felt so empty and hollow when Verso's final words echoed throughout my head. Then suddenly the peaceful music stops. The scene turns into black and white as Verso steps out on the stage. He begins walking out towards the lonely grand piano with almost a furious look on his face. As he sits down and struggles to find the will to play, the cheering crowd's clapping turns to silence. In that silence, we watch as the faces of our beloved characters on screen are all shown until we see Mael's face appearing on the screen, her face distorted horribly as staying inside the painting has slowly corrupted her. I am not kidding you when I say I almost jumped out of my chair at this moment. I was terrified with what I was hearing and seeing. This is how the game leaves you, and when the credits started to roll, I immediately started regretting my decision. I just sat and stared blankly at my screen. The game had quite literally shaken me. The whole ending felt like one big punishment for siding with Mael. I thought to myself, why did this all feel so wrong? At this point, I was left to reflect a lot on what had happened and why this ending felt like the wrong choice to make. I think this ending lands so wrong for me because all of the losses we have experienced throughout our journey was reduced to nothing as everyone was brought back to life. All the death, mourning and sorrow was rendered pointless and meaningless in the end. We also have to face the fact that Mael chooses to repeat the cycle of her mother and stay in the painted world as Verso's soul is forced to continue to exist. After a long night of thinking, a feeling that I might be very similar to Mael and her mom started creeping in. I realized that maybe the enjoyment that I get out of consuming art myself might just be to escape uncomfortable thoughts. Maybe I really am just like Mael. I refuse to face reality and actively don't cause change in the life I don't enjoy. I'm perpetually stuck in place, living in the painted world of video games, anime and manga that I've surrounded myself in. I've fooled myself with escapism into thinking I'm happy, preventing me from moving forward with my life. This uneasy feeling led me to boot up my save the very next day to see what the other ending was like. In this ending, Mael is defeated by Verso, and he's now allowed to let his soul rest. In doing so, the painted world fades, and we watch as everyone and everything slowly disappears. The final scene shows the whole Desandre family putting flowers by Verso's grave, mourning the loss of their son and brother. It is a very somber scene, but it shows the family moving on from the loss of their dear family members passing. Moving on from the painted world that kept the family shattered, and hopefully now they are all finally able to heal. Once I finished out their ending for Clair Obscur, I felt like everything clicked. And from that day onwards, I decided to start enjoying art more as a hobby rather than an escape. And what's great is that my life has greatly changed courses since the day I finished Clair Obscur. I've started working on myself a lot more, and I'm actually starting to become a person I can be proud of. This video has been a long time in the making, but I've always wanted to create video essays, and Clair Obscur gave me the push to start pursuing my passions and goals. In the end, I think this is the message that Clair Obscur tries to tell you. It's about the dangers of escapism and about letting yourself move on. There's nothing wrong with wanting to escape reality sometimes, whether it's grief, anxiety, depression, or anything else. We all need moments of escape. But what's wrong is never facing or listening to our inner and outer selves. So maybe next time you sit down to enjoy that favorite game of yours, ask yourself, could you be stuck in your own painted world? Thank you to everyone for watching and making it to the end of this video. Although this video isn't very long, it has taken me a very long time to put together. So if you would like to show me support, please leave a like and consider subscribing. I do think there's lots more to talk about when it comes to the many topics that Claire Obscur explores, but this was my take on a small piece of the things that really resonated with me. I'm very new to making videos and my pacing for releasing them will probably be atrocious, but I do have more games and also anime that I'd like to talk about in the future. So stay tuned for that. Thank you once again to everyone who watched, and I hope you really enjoyed the video, and hopefully it gave you something of value.